roll with them together and get that thing done. Because we need to at least have, if not two, one of the towing tracks in every constituency or every district in this country. Because we know the black spots, and we know that most of the trucks that parks on the highways are these long trails where they're able to put the grass. When they are putting the grass behind their faulty vehicles, they're able to think as sound. When they are supposed to be at triangles, they end up putting their triangles on top of the vehicle. When you are driving 100 kilometers per hour, the minimum distance between you applying a brake when you suddenly see a vehicle, so they are triangles. It doesn't mean that because they have their triangles, they'll put their triangles on top of their vehicle because they are scared that somebody will see their triangle. But when they are put on it.
Well, thanks for sharing your thoughts on that. A very important perspective that you're sharing there on that all-important road.
The LECMA project, as you and I had to end the contract on mutual grounds, being frustrated because monies were not being paid. So bottom line, on the LECMA road, they have done from the gravel bit, the sub base, they have done the crash or the one that looks like whitish after the stones, and they have put the fair pavement material. That's why you see the black surface there now, but there's no line markings, as in the road line markings. The road line markings will come when the last layer of based on that one. After that, then the line markings will come on. But before the line markings will come, you will have to give them small time so that the between the line markings that will come on it. And so at this stage, I can presume that based on my own investigations here and there, they are about 75% complete. 75%. The outstanding works is not because of the percent of the contract and because of the components, i.e., the chippings that are supposed to use, the various size of chippings, to about 14 mm sizes below, and then outstanding work on the last layer is about 15% approximately, and the line markings to take about 5%, including the traffic light. I think there are a lot of junctions feeding onto the LECMA road. Those junctions have to be improved backwards. Like you need to have about the binder and the well, so that whatever if the roads are bad in those sections, they will not undermine the main carriageway. So you have to do all those extensions on the side of the highway. That has been the outstanding works. So the contractor, I know, money on time after raising certificate, he will just notify the client through whichever department, in this case, the Department of Urban Roads, that activity. So it might be deliberate that the contractor will just lift the leg off the cadre so that he will not be doing the capital intensive work now, so that he also not just put all his times. If you allow one layer to overstay and overused by vehicular movement and whatever activities on it, it undermines, would reduce sometimes drastically, depending on the extent of exposure of the usage.
Now, are we not yet at the point where we should be having road marking?
We are left with one more black material. That is one more layer. So let me say this. You see that when you look at the LECMA road, the bitumen material which is on now, which is the binder, going from end to end. So if the road is about 10 meters, the last but one pave, when you are left with the last one, which is the one that makes riding so smooth, riding quality improved, that is, you are going to do 1.5, then you offset that one from the center. So that one you don't do to the end, to the extreme of the either the inner curves or the outer curve. You define the last width, which is maybe 3.5 for the two carriageways. Lines at least to show the center of the road, so that when you are doing the offset, you're able to do 3.5 meters to the left, 3.5 meters to the right, or 3 extremes are the walkways and the shoulders of the road.
Right.
So until that one is done, you cannot do the line marking. However, the traffic light still 90% correct. That, as it normally happens on some of these roads, roads being executed by either the urban road or given the full control to handle the construction and all ancillary works, this traffic light may or would be in installation by now. The traffic light would not necessarily, whatever is there, once the road is motorable, accidents are imminent. And so therefore, all the signalized intersections to at least have these things purchased somewhere about, when they are about 80% or 70% of projects they would have purchased us because it takes a longer time to have these things brought in. So as you are doing this, your intensive investigation or exposures, we have to go reverse and ask the traffic light, or somebody at the ministry, the department there is in charge of getting. It's not wrong. Sometimes lettered. Had the person been vetted, had the person been given the approval to go and then get them, by this time they should be installed.
Engineer Mahama, as always, very enlightening speech. So this is not the last of our many conversations with you.
Jansen.
Yes, sir.
Before you go, my plea.
Crushed.
The documentary, The Crush. Please, it's just a big request. That sections at the intersections, I mean, that section, that part of the Krama jingle, it's so scary. If you can make it available, let it be shared along everywhere. People to see it on daily basis on each and every station they watch. That and patience. When you are getting closer to a traffic light and it's amber, the yellow, it means that you are approaching the traffic light, you ought to have stopped. But some people want to beat the traffic, the yellow, the amber sign, and then that's where the other one who's also recalcitrant from the other side gets most of this conflict and they get themselves crushed. I think that's your humble appeal to you. Thank you very much.
Engineer Mahama, thank you. Thank you for that. And we certainly will take that suggestion very, very seriously because we want to impact as many people as we can.
It will shock the conscience of people who are still living in a different land about what should be done under the circumstances and whether or not this is as serious as supposed to be. I was complete. So those who feel that they are somewhat immortal and that their condition is some way, somehow, that they are people, perhaps that is the best way to get people to appreciate the gravity of the problem we are dealing with.
And it suddenly becomes real. And when you recognize some of the intersections that were, that the accidents happened at.
Certainly.
So for me, it was the Alisa speed. The rider flew up in the air and slammed into a lamp post with such ferocity that his head ripped off his body. You can't watch that. When you see the amber, you will stop.
Certainly.
You will stop. And that's the idea. We want to shock a change.